Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today we talk all about Ray Conniff. Now, that's not Ray behind me. That is one of the women that was on the album cover of his album, Honey. Now, Ray Conniff is one of the great arrangers of all time because he invented his own unique style of arrangement that he applied to literally every kind of song from every type of genre of music and sold lots of records while doing it. He was born in 1916 on this day of all days, and he started out life as an arranger with a lot of the big bands that he worked with, including Artie Shaw, who had a very famous big band in the 1930s and 40s. By the mid 50s, he was working with Mitch Miller, who was kind of the pioneer of sort of sing along and easy listening choral music. Huge record seller in the 50s. And Ray helped to develop part of what made that sound so successful, which was by adding lyricless choir to double some of the brass instruments, like the trumpet, things like ba ba ba, things like that. It sounds corny when I do it. Some say it sounded corny when they did it, but I think it really captured the sound of an era. And it was from there that Mitch Miller encouraged Ray to do his own albums, which featured that song front and center. And that's when the Ray Conniff singers were born. And some of it was, a cappella singing. Some of it were later on became lyrical singing. They were always favorites around Christmas time. The albums had a very unique sound, beautiful production, a very broad and, wide, thick almost soundstage. Because not only did you have big band plus often string section, but you had these choral voices that just gave a lot of power to the arrangements. But it was always very light music. It was easy listening music. It was the kind of thing you'd put on while it was sort of, I mean, if Herb Alpert was the cool, easy listening king of the 60s, Ray Conniff was a bit more of the less cool, but it was the sound of an era, and it was really musically interesting because arranging for choir and musical instruments is really a skill, and Ray was able to do both. And he had a hell of a lot of success because he recorded albums right up until his death in the early 2000s with various members of the Ray Conniff Singers. I mean, to have hits in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and into the early 2000s, it really says a lot. Now, obviously, the 50s and the 60s was the era that he's most associated with, and the sound is really, in many ways, the sound of the late 50s, but he didn't go away. He really had something going for him, a really unique arranger who was instantly recognizable by that sound. So, hats off to Ray Conniff, a great arranger who makes every day better. If you listen to some of his music, I guarantee there will be a smile on your face. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.